And I think Kelly McGonigal, the psychologist, she talks about almost writing a letter from your future self to yourself, which is actually quite an interesting thing, saying, thanks for taking that half an hour a week to do this activity, and doing those small incremental steps, so half an hour a day, so 3.5, 4 hours a week over years, that really builds up, and it builds up quickly. And I think with a lot of activities, it's that taking off is hard, but once you're up, it's much easier to maintain it, like going to the gym or learning any sort of activity. It just becomes a lot easier, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I think that's a great analogy. So most people who are listening today wouldn't think twice if someone said to them, when you're thinking about your health, when you're thinking about eating well, and when you're thinking about exercising, that's something that you have to do for life. So don't go on a crash diet. Invest in it for life. Baby steps, baby steps. If you need to lose weight slowly. And it's exactly the same thing here. The way the world of work has changed, we're now in a situation where you're going to need to be continuously learning, particularly if you're in a professional career, for literally the rest of your life. So the kind of the trends are moving so quickly, and it's much easier if that continuous learning is A, embedded as a habit, and B, isn't costly. So you shouldn't be paying, like, and I work for a university, so I apologize, but you don't need to be paying tens of thousands of pounds to keep yourself, to constantly in continuous education. There's so much good content out there on the internet. So I think making that work for you is really, really important, and embedding it as a habit and keeping it low cost.
And especially if you like those activities, it's so much easier to put the hours in if you enjoy what you're doing.
I agree. And I think, just to kind of manage expectations of people who might be listening, I think the activities that will have a learning curve. So the start of it might not necessarily be pleasant, and really sticking with it, safe in the knowledge that, as you say, once this is embedded as a habit, once you get a bit of experience under your belt, everything gets easier. I'm somebody who learned how to kind of price derivatives much later in life than people normally do. And when I was sitting in those classes as a lecturer already at the LSE, in classes with real students at the LSE, there were so many of them around me who were much better at it than me in the beginning. But again, it's something where the scales fall from your eyes at different rates. And I was able to do it just as good as anybody else in the end. And I say this to my students all the time. I teach econometrics at the LSE. And when I teach econometrics, so many people anticipate the failure of econometrics in a way that's actually really real for them, that it holds them back. And I just kind of say, look, you have to have, you're not going to know this straight away. The learning curve is steep. But the beauty of a steep learning curve is that when you get to the top, it really is all flat. You feel very comfortable then in kind of in discussing things and in applying things, and not afraid to ask questions. And most important, not afraid to say, I don't know.
It's funny, Grace, when you mentioned econometrics, that freaks me out.
You should come back. You should let me teach you. It's something that I pride myself on, of teaching people econometrics who have no statistical knowledge.
When I work with derivatives, I never priced them. I was more of a structurer, but it's really interesting to understand how they sort of fit together. But anyway, let's move on from my nightmares.